ya? Well, we're back, and today I'm sitting in the park right now, and it's summertime. It's hot out here. It's probably around about 80 degrees, and I'm sitting here on the bench just looking at the water. There's some water behind me, and I'm looking at some little ducklings just swimming around, and I'm just having a great relaxing time here, just sitting, enjoying myself and enjoying the weather. Well, I'm Eartha, and welcome to Read Me a Story. Today we got a great story today for you, and it's a great one. It's an old story. It's a story that I used to hear when I was a little girl, and I really liked it. It's called Make Way for Ducklings. Make Way for Ducklings. And what a perfect story to read out here today, especially while I'm looking at the ducks out here just enjoying themselves in the water. This story is by R.M.A.S, and what we're going to do today is something a little different. I'm going to read just half of the story this time, and then we're going to come back again and finish the rest of the story up another time. So we're going to keep it real exciting so you'll learn the first part, and then I know you'll be waiting again to come back to read me a story to find out what happens in this book. I'm going to take off my sunglasses so that I can put on my favorite reading glasses so that I can see the words clear. Make Way for Ducklings by R.M.A.S. And if you look closer, you'll notice the illustration, the pictures in the book. They're not in color. They're kind of in black and white, because that's the way they drew pictures way back when I was a little girl. It wasn't a lot of color, but you're going to still enjoy the story anyway. Mr. and Mrs. Mallard were looking for a place to live. But every time Mr. Mallard saw what looked like a nice place, Miss Mallard said it was no good. They were sure to be foxes in the woods or turtles in the water, and she was not going to raise a family where there might be foxes or turtles. So they flew away, on and on. When they got to Boston, they felt too tired to fly any further. There was a nice pond in the public garden with a little island on it. The very place to spend the night, quacked Miss Mallard. So down they flapped. Next morning, they fished for their breakfast in the mud at the bottom of the pond, but they didn't find much. We've got some ducks in the background about to visit us. I think they want to enjoy the story too. I think they know it's about them. Just as they were getting ready to start on their way, a strange, enormous bird came by. It was pushing a boat full of people, and there was a man sitting on its back. "Good morning," quacked Mr. Mallard, being polite. The big bird was too proud to answer, but the people on the boat threw peanuts into the water, so the mallards followed them all around the pond and got another breakfast, better than the first. "I like this place," said Miss Mallard, as they climbed out on the bank and waddled around. "Why don't we build a nest and raise our ducklings right in this pond? There are no foxes, no turtles, and the people fed us peanuts. What could be better?" "Good," said Mr. Mallard, delighted that at last Miss Mallard had found a place that suited her. "But look out!" squawked Miss Mallard, all in a dither. "You'll get run over." And when she got her breath, she added, "This is no place for babies. With all those horrid things rushing about, we'll have to look somewhere else." Our duck friends over there, you see them? I think they're enjoying the story. What do you think? I think they're here just for it. So they flew over Beacon Hill and round the State House, but there was no place there. No place at all in the big city. They looked in Lewisburg Square, but there was no water to swim in. Then they flew over the Charles River. This is better, quacked Mr. Mallard. That island looks like a nice quiet place, and it's only a little way from the public garden. Yes, said Mrs. Mallard, remembering the peanuts. That looks like just the right place to hatch ducklings. So they chose a cozy spot among the bushes near the water and settled down to build their nests. And only just in time, for now, they were beginning to molt. All their old wing feathers started to drop out, and they would not be able to fly again until the new ones grew in. But of course, they could swim, and one day they swam over to the park on the riverbank, and there they met a policeman called Michael. Michael fed them peanuts, and after that, the Mallards called on Michael every day. After Mrs. Mallard had laid 8 eggs in the nest, she couldn't go to visit Michael anymore because she had to sit on the eggs to keep them warm. She moved off the nest only to get a drink of water, or to have her lunch, or to count the eggs and make sure they were all there. There she is, counting her eggs, being very careful to make sure that they're all there, just like a mother would do. One day, the ducklings hatched out. First came Jack, then Cack, then Lack, then Mac and Knack, and Whack, and Pack, and Quack. Mr. and Mrs. Mallard was bursting with pride. It was a great responsibility, taking care of so many ducklings, and it kept them very busy. One day, Mr. Mallard decided he'd like to take a trip to see what the rest of the river was like further on. So off he set. I'll meet you in a week in the public garden, he quacked over his shoulders. Take good care of the ducklings. Don't you worry, said Mrs. Mallard. I know all about bringing up children. And she did. She taught them how to swim and dive. She taught them to walk in a line, just like we saw our ducks over there. To come when they were called, and to keep a safe distance from bikes and scooters and other things with wheels. Just like your own mom or grandma would say, to keep you safe. She would say things like, watch out before you cross the street, look both ways. Something like that, right? When at last she felt perfectly satisfied with them, she said one morning, come along, children, come along, follow me. Before you could wink an eyelash, Jack, Cack, Lack, Mac, Knack, Whack, Pack, and Quack fell into line, just as they had been taught. Mrs. Mallard led the way into the water, and they swam behind her to the opposite bank. And there they are, all of her little ducklings following Mama Mallard. They want to make sure that they don't get lost. There they waded ashore and waddled along till they came to a highway. Oh my goodness, they came to a highway. And you know what? Right now, we're going to stop right here. just at this page here when they're coming to a highway. And when we return to read me a story, we're going to finish the rest of this book called Make Way for Ducklings. But I want you to be right back. You come on back and hear the rest of the story and see what happened when they crossed that highway. So, thank you for watching Read Me a Story. And guess what? Remember, you have to read. Read is a great activity. Keep on reading. See ya.